Hello.
Hi.
I brought breakfast.
It's 5:51. What?
Sorry. Good morning.
Good morning.
Brought breakfast.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I need a coffee. All right, come on, let's go to Switzerland.
Let's do this. Hello and a very good morning from a picturesque Luton Airport.
It's very pink. It's
Yes.
like my face. You see that? I've had my first sunburn of the year already. Sogok, where are we going today?
We are going to Geneva,
Yes.
somewhere where I've never been. Famous for chocolate.
We are going to what used to be the biggest motor show in the world. I'm still...
Oh.
Whilst I did enjoy my plant-based breakfast, it left us with very little time to get through security.
Final call, Ken.
So me and Gok had to break our protocol of never running in public to make it to the gate.
So, as we were saying, we're off to Geneva for the motor show, aren't we?
We are.
Sogok, what do
Yeah.
you know about the show?
Nothing.
Can you tell me about Geneva?
Nothing.
Well, it was the biggest in the world. If you were unveiling a brand new car and you wanted the world to know about it, you had to show it off there.
The last motor show I went to was in 2000. It was in 2000 when I saw the Mercedes SLK in yellow.
Nice. So, this is the first time that it's been hosted since 2019. It was cancelled at the last minute for obvious reasons in 2020, but it was actually hosted somewhere in the world last year, just not Geneva. Points if you can guess it in the comments.
There's a man of very many knowledge, which you'll find on the plane.
In the plane. We're getting in the plane.
On the plane.
Boarding complete.
We made it.
Nice.
I have no idea who's there, who's not. I did zero research. I avoided Googling it.
Whilst Ken topped up his knowledge with some last-minute research, I made better use of my time looking at pictures in a magazine and enjoying gin with some other passengers.
Okay, we'll see you guys in Geneva.
After landing at Geneva Airport, we took a 10-minute walk towards the exhibition hall and had a quick look at the mountain range that watches over the Swiss capital. But I think the views got even more impressive once we were inside the show itself.
What are the chances of the car of the year being a car that's not even out yet in the UK?
I'm going to say 100%.
Should we have a look?
Yeah, let's have a
have a
look.
look.
For the first time ever on YouTube, I've been wrong about something. The Scenic is already on sale in the UK.
Yep. Just.
Yeah, and it's already had a price cut.
There it is, guys. The car of the year. The Renault Scenic. Guess it can't hurt to look at the runners-up. Oh! BYD Seal. BYD Seal. One of my best performing videos. Is the most popular car here. The Mark 1 Golf. I don't think there's anyone that doesn't like the Mark 1 Golf.
Well, it
I
still
know
looks good.
Yeah, Volkswagen means like people's car,
Yeah.
right? That right there is the people's car.
And it turns 50 this year, and it
does
still
turn
looks
50
modern.
this year. And GTI turns 48. It came 2 years later.
In true car fashion, there was of course the strange,
What do you think?
It looks like the love child of a Land Rover Discovery and a Renault Laguna estate. I mean, I love the spotlights. You know, how many headlights would you like, sir? Yes, I'll have 6 of them.
the absolutely gorgeous,
Which Porsche is this?
It's the 901.
It is, and have you just looked at the Q card?
No.
No. So do you know why the name changed from 901 to 911?
Yes, because Peugeot had a problem with it.
Correct. It's
and the outright bonkers from the history books, which would only appeal to a certain calibre of man.
So I've got a thing for a dictatorial spec limousine, and this, which I didn't know existed until about a minute ago, I think, is the cream of the crop. So this is apparently a Bugatti 41 Royale Coupe, which was designed to carry King Carol II of Romania. How about a 12.7 litre inline 8 engine making 300 horsepower, very good for 1930 I suppose, and a top speed of 124. And it weighs 4 tonnes, which makes it half a tonne lighter than a new EQS. But I've just spotted this. So you can keep your spirits of ecstasy. I will have a prancing elephant, please.
Ken here works at Mercedes-Benz Hertfordshire. He's the marketing guru, and he was getting a bit of withdrawal symptoms because he hadn't seen a Mercedes in over 4 hours. So here we are.
Once Ken got a dose of his Mercedes-Benz fix, we enjoyed a few more cars which seemingly got prettier as they got older. It was time to head to the main show, where I had a bit of a shock.
There's no Mercedes, there's no BMW, there's no Volkswagen, there's no Nissan, Bentley, Rolls-Royce, Koenigsegg, Lamborghini, Fiat. There's none of those.
I don't know about you, but it doesn't look unbusy.
So, what do we have? We've got BYD. You would have hopefully heard of BYD by now. Pininfarina.
One of the greatest automotive design houses, agencies ever, I think.
Okay. Renault. Renault is a familiar household name. And FIA.
What? Oh,
Dacia.
good news.
Good news.
So let's go and have a look down there.
I think I found my car of the show.
Already?
The classic stuff and the really high-end stuff like the Paganis, Hondas and the McLaren Sennas and stuff.
Yeah.
We have to put to one side. But I've earmarked my favourite car of the show. But I'll show it to you a little bit later on. We're going to come back to this. Since I did very little work on the plane, just looked at pictures of cars, Ken is going to take the lead with introducing all the cars at the show and telling you a little bit about them.
So behind this big gaggle of people is one thing that I'm really excited to see, because it is the first mass-produced fully electric roadster. It is the MG Cyberster, which still doesn't sound quite right to say, but it is here, I believe, in production form. It comes with a 77 kilowatt hour capacity battery, 300-ish mile range on the Chinese testing cycle, maybe a little bit less when it comes to our shores. Single motor, 335 horsepower, or twin motor with a lot more. And, well, it looks like a concept car, and this is the first time I've seen it, be it in person or images online, in a colour other than red. I think it really suits the silver, actually. It's very interesting. So this currently, or it will have when it goes on sale, the entire electric two-seater sports car market to itself, as we still have to wait about another year for the electric Porsche Boxster to arrive. Over here is what I've been wanting to see in person and talk about on camera for years now. Right? Good news, it's the Dacia Spring EV, finally!
There seems to not be a lot here.
Well, this is the reason why this car has been making waves since Dacia confirmed that it would be coming to the UK with its facelift, because under here there is no trusty old 1 litre or 1.2 litre turbo petrol. It is fully electric. This promises to be the UK's cheapest full-size electric car when it comes. There's going to be one battery available, 28 kilowatt hours or so. Promises a range of about 136 miles, and from a 3-pin domestic socket you can fully charge it in a little over 11 hours.
None of the big names that you would generally expect to see at the biggest motor show in the world.
Yep.
And you know what? I've spoken to people at Mercedes, BMW, and other larger brands, and they always sort of raise an eyebrow when we talk about these Chinese brands, especially EV. And then you come here and they're nowhere to be seen.
My theory goes, and it's probably completely wrong, the show wasn't hosted for the last. That MG7 has a light bar, that looks fantastic. Just off camera is another car that we don't get in the UK. MG7 looks like a miniature Audi A7, I guess, with 4 pipes at the back. In British Racing Green, looks sensational. We're going to go off tangent, on tangents quite a lot. So my theory is the show wasn't hosted in 2020. It was cancelled very early in 21, very early in 22, very early in Geneva in 2023. Then it was hosted in Doha, which is not in Geneva, which is in Qatar. I think a lot of the manufacturers must have gone, okay, Geneva, put on a good show and we might come back. Now this is in total contrast to Munich last year, where all the local manufacturers, German city, German manufacturers nearby, they all showed up, they all absolutely went to town. Yeah, getting up close and personal with the cars, starting to see the things that they only ever see in the magazines in person, getting to touch them, taste them, smell them, feel them, everything. I cannot believe that couldn't have been seen as anything other than a good thing for brand exposure.
Yeah. Obviously there's some classic stuff. We saw the Gullwing, we saw the Bugattis from 1920s,
1930s, straight 8 engines, there are some Le Mans cars as well.
McLaren Sennas, Porsche 901, beautiful example. But you come to like your bread and butter cars. I mean, we've got an MG7 here, there's an MG3 there. We've got the new Renault 5, which I'm excited to go and have a look at. That's coming to the UK. You've got Lucid here, who I only know through YouTube. I don't know whether they're going to come to the UK yet.
I have a feeling they will.
I imagine they will. There's a whole new generation behind us that are touching, feeling and seeing these cars for the first time and capturing their imagination.
I'll have a pound on it with you that the big European manufacturers will be here next year.
A pound.
£1. You going to take my bet? So we'll have representation from Stellantis, Volkswagen Group, Mercedes-Benz, BMW.
Okay.
Some of them.
I hope you win.
I hope so too. We'll be back next
It's
year.
a pound well spent.
Yeah, people go nuts over clamshell bonnets, but I quite like the look of a clamshell boot now, I think.
Yeah.
Right, Lucid. Not yet in the UK. This is the Air, the first model that launched from them, which goes right up against the Tesla Model S and has been described by Top Gear magazine as being the best handling electric vehicle that they have driven. Not bad. The CEO of Lucid is from Great Britain, and he's gone on record plenty of times saying that he would love to bring the car to the UK. Obviously they've got a bit of expansion to do, and as well as the Air Saloon with anything from 400 up to well over 1,000 horsepower with this, the Sapphire model, they've just made, here at the Geneva Motor Show, their European debut with their second model, the Gravity. Now this is a 3-row, 7-seat, fully electric SUV, 120 kilowatt-hour capacity battery, over 300 miles of range on a full charge. Gok will put the exact number here, somewhere, thank you. 350 kilowatt charging as well, so it will take no time at all to top back up.
BYD Atto 3, we have it in the UK, it's on the channel, I'll link in the description box below. That is the BYD Tang, but the one that I want to show you guys is over here. Just look how many kids are trying to get into it. BYD Seal U is basically the SUV version of the Seal, which I featured on the channel a few weeks ago. That will be in the description box down below as well. Rather nice looking thing that.
Tell us about the Dolphin.
Dolphin is here, right there. This is the entry level car from BYD, and it will complete the third and final trilogy of the BYD series that I've got on the channel. Hopefully should be landing end of March, early April, so make sure if you haven't subscribed yet, do it. Won't miss the BYD Dolphin video. Are you excited about that one?
Well, it seems to be everything that everyone wants from an electric car. Small, spacious, affordable.
Yes.
What's not to like?
The two-tone colour combination?
No, I quite like that actually.
Okay. Then there's nothing not to like.
Shut up and take my money. So, tell the ladies and gentlemen what you've just nicked.
This is a little known fact, and it's only available in the Dolphin for some unknown reason. I looked at it in the Seal, I looked at it in the Atto 3, and it doesn't exist. You get this tiny little lipstick with the BYD Dolphin, and on this side you have what smashes windscreens, and on this side you have a blade which cuts seat belts. So if you're ever trapped in the car, or you go underwater, this tiny little lipstick can save your life. That is a man. Out of the way. Ow, ow. There we go. That is a very bling looking thing.
Right, this is the Yangwang U8. So, like MG over there have IM Motor as their more premium brand. Think of it as how Genesis is to Hyundai. Yangwang is the top of the tree brand from BYD. Now this, just looking at it, it looks like it's going after a mixture of both the Range Rover and the G-Wagon, I would say.
And Defender.
And the Defender, yeah, obviously a bit of that in there. It has got 3 binnacles on the roof, which tells us that it will be able to do semi-autonomous or partially autonomous driving. My favourite detail of it, just from looking at the front, apart from the brown interior, is the sheer detail of the lights in the grille. I like the individual lights. It's not subtle, definitely not subtle, and it seems to be proving its off-road credentials on the very loud bit of video that BYD are playing on their rather enormous screen here. Will it come to the UK? Are we going to be reaching a point of saturation in the market of choice? Who knows? Defender.
Those men had a torch and a notepad. I think they were stealing secrets.
I think so.
Some graphics playing in the daytime running lights.
Are you a fan of Anne Van? If so, behold, the Denza D9. Now this company, Denza, used to be a joint venture between BYD and Mercedes-Benz. Mercedes-Benz have since pulled out of that, as far as I'm aware, so it's now BYD's to do with as they please. Now, unsurprisingly, this is the place that you are going to want to be. Feels like it's being ventilated. These are electrically adjustable as well. Acres and acres and acres of headroom and a split panoramic sunroof. The interior quality of this and the Yangwang U8 is really, really impressive. The stuff coming from the Far East, they know the competition, they've seen the competition for years and years now. You will find the quality of the materials right up there with the best.
After a few hours, we took a break and enjoyed a 7th cup of coffee, whilst overlooking some legends of yesteryear, some resto mods, and some stuff brought to life from the minds of computer game designers, as well as some of the rarest bit of real estate in the world.
So I've had to get the Johnny Smith style notepad out for this. Behind us is the new Renault 5. Now this is drawing one of the bigger crowds here at the Geneva Motor Show. It is obviously retro. It is bringing back a pretty iconic hatch from a time and an era well before my time. So I personally don't have much nostalgia for it, but it looks good. I didn't have any nostalgia for the Fiat 500 when that launched in 2007. I quite like that. No nostalgia for the original Mini, absolutely love the new one. So, if they get this right, this could be their Mini moment. The car is very important. It replaces the Zoe that has been on sale across 2 generations and over a decade now. 249 miles range is the maximum that we can expect, and coming to the UK there will be either a 121 or 148 brake horsepower motor. If you're asking, or thinking rather, is there going to be a Renault Sport version? Unfortunately not. Renault Sport is no more. But Alpine are working on a go faster variant of the Renault 5 called the Alpine A290, and we will see that later on this year.
However, for me, I've got a few years on Ken. This is very nostalgic for me. You see, many moons ago, I had a stack of Max Power magazines up to my waist that had very tasteful modifications done to Renault 5 turbos, Peugeots and other cheap French cars, basically, where they'd put about 50 speakers on the door cards.
Sound system more powerful than the engine.
Absolutely.
Yep.
Screens everywhere, these custom made bumpers, and now I look at it and it takes me back.
Now the story goes that Luca Di Maio became CEO of Renault Group, went to one of the design studios, looked through a pile of sketches, saw an early sketch for a new Renault 5 and said, you're going to make that and it's going to be as close to that as possible. Have a look at the concept that came out, I think 2 years ago now.
Yeah, pretty much identical.
Yeah, and then have a look at the new one. They say they've managed to carry over 90% of what they put in the concept. Should we go and take a closer look?
Yes.
Yeah.
This for me is what an electric car should be. Fun, exciting, relatively cheap, and just cool.
So on face value, I know you're going to be driving one of these in a couple of weeks. Do you prefer the look of the Renault 5 to the BYD Dolphin, which is going to be one of this car's competitors? Everyone's forgetting about that.
I prefer the look of the Renault 5, hands down. It speaks to me on a different level.
Yeah.
But like, that's purely down to taste. We'll see what the cars are like, and I can't wait to drive them both and then let you guys know. Let's go and have a look.
Come in here, have a look at this. The headlining is quilted.
So it is.
Yeah. Now the seats are soft, squidgy, comfortable. Kind of remind me of the last modern Citroen I was sitting in. What I'm finding is interesting. The floor feels very high. So the back of the car won't quite be suitable for taller passengers on longer journeys. If you are stuck in the back, make sure that the person in front of you is significantly shorter. Or just call shotgun quicker so that you can get the proper seat.
This thing right next to us, we trying to work out what it is. It's called Lazareth. So far, what we found out is that it has a Ferrari F430 engine, which is a V8 producing 510 brake horsepower. It's mated to a 3-speed transmission gearbox. You face plant the air intakes to keep your face warm in 155 mile an hour winds. It weighs about the same as a smart car. It is as big as a smart car. It also has Maserati alloy wheels and brake pads from a Ferrari. We hadn't scripted the wildest thing of the show, but I think Lazareth with a F430 engine takes a biscuit.
Yeah, I don't think we can call it the most ridiculous car, but it's
No, it's
easily
not a
the most
car.
ridiculous
Thing.
thing that's here. I've never
Correct.
seen anything like that.
So to finish the video off, we have come back to the car that we said that I was very excited about, which is that.
That is the Dacia Sandrider, and that is a T1 class rally raid car which is going to be taking on the Dakar Rally from 2025. It is like no Dacia we've ever seen before.
Nope.
It's got a 3-litre twin turbocharged direct injection V6 pumping out 355 horsepower. It has a tube chassis, carbon body, 17-inch wheels, so smaller than what's on the new Renault 5 over there, but the tyres are 37-inch. How about that?
Not bad.
Pretty cool, isn't it?
Pretty
Now, what
big.
if I told you, Gok, it is built to some road legal standards?
I would have one.
Yeah.
I love a bit of off-roading, and that thing just screams Dakar to me.
Yeah?
And I have a soft spot for the Porsche Dakar. So from a fun, imaginative point of view, that car has gained my attention.
But is it your star of the show? In fact,
No.
what are your top 3, the cars that have drawn you the most since
So-
you've been here?
If it, my money,
Yep.
I'm buying the Renault 5.
Yep.
Hands down. And by the way, we're omitting all the LaFerraris and the McLaren Sennas and the Valkyries and all the obvious choices. We're going to omit those, and we're going to just come for the stars of the show. So for me, top place is Renault 5.
Yep.
What's yours?
I've been really, really impressed by the Lucid Air.
Yeah.
I think, yeah, I keep on coming back to that because I've read and seen so much about it, and it's been one of those like unattainable, unreachable things that we just don't get in the UK for now.
We think it will make it to the UK though.
I think so.
The CEO is British and he's keen to bring it to the UK. So watch this space. Number 2, EMG.
The MG Cyberster.
I think we both agree that's car number 2.
Yeah.
Electric convertible roadster with scissor doors
Yeah.
that automatically go up and down. Cabin's beautifully crafted. It's a pretty car.
Yeah.
It's a good looking car.
I can't wait to see it with the steering wheel on the correct side of the car. Cannot wait to see it in this country and maybe even have a go.
We're in Geneva, in the UK.
In the UK, yes, not in this country, in the country that you may be watching.
Yes,
from.
correct. So-
Unless you're watching it from the United States. We agree on number 2.
We're agreeing number 2. Third and final choice.
Okay, I know you said ignoring all of the ultra exclusive,
Obvious choices. I did, yes.
obvious choices from upstairs.
Yes.
Totally ignoring that.
you
Absolutely
are.
love LMP1 cars. If I win the lottery, I'm road legalising a Le Mans car, and I was always a fan of Rebellion Racing when they were hitting the track. So for me, the Rebellion R13 Gibson in that black, red and white livery. Unbeatable.
Well, over the McLaren Senna,
Yep.
the F1,
Yep.
LaFerrari.
Absolutely. You might call me crazy, but yeah, that car just
That's for
just
our
does it
viewers
for
to
me.
decide. Okay.
Your number 3, Gok.
Well, if we're cheating, I'm going to go for the Porsche 901.
Yeah?
It's just a car. It's got an engine, it's beautiful, it's got a gearbox. That's the one I would choose.
Well, we've been spoiled for choice here, both with the classics and with the new cars. I think the way that it's been set up has been really interesting, showing where we've come from. I mean, there's a Ford Model T up there,
Yep.
and then 2-minute walk away there is a McLaren Speedtail, and then you've got all of the new stuff from the manufacturers that have arrived here. So let's address the elephants in the room, let's answer the questions.
Why aren't the big brands here?
Yeah. Now, you've got a theory.
I think it's one of 2, and when you've got a third.
Yeah.
So I think it's costs. I'm sure these things aren't cheap. I'm confident these things aren't cheap. Secondly, I'm wondering, are bigger brands, the brands that you and I are used to, looking at this and going, do we need to be there?
Whereas my theory is it's playing a game of wait and see. The show hasn't been here for the last 4 years now. I guess some of the manufacturers may be looking at this thinking, how's it going to go? Is it actually worth us coming back? But I'd take that with a major pinch of salt, because all of the manufacturers that are not here put in one hell of a load of effort for the motor show in Munich at the end of 2023.
Yep. And for me, what I saw, what I witnessed in this is there's a lot of younger audience, kids aged 8 upwards, that are jumping in and out of cars like the Lucids, the BYDs, and they're absolutely loving it, weren't they?
Yeah.
There was queues to get into the cars.
These are going to be the cars that stick in their brains, in their imaginations. These are going to be the aspirational brands for them as they grow up into petrolheads.
By the time they're old enough to drive, these brands won't be some alien brand from the Far East. They'll be brands that they saw when they were kids.
Yeah.
It's capturing all their attention, like you
Yeah.
said. So, be interesting. Have bigger brands made a mistake, or time will tell?
Have to
But
wait and see.
I think, as far as we're concerned, motor trades aren't dead.
No, I don't think
Not
so.
from visitors, not from a consumer's point of view, but maybe brands think they are. But who knows? We'll see next year in 2025 whether the traditional big companies attend. And on that, we can leave it there. Thank you very much for watching. If you made it to the end, thank you. Don't forget to like, subscribe, share. Follow Ken on his channels, which is
L&L Automotive, and make sure to check out all of the other things that Gok has done over the last few months.
Thanks, guys. We'll see you back in London.
I've not been up this early since I was employed.
Welcome.